Are you looking to plan that ultimate luxury vacation to Italy or Greece? Don't know where to begin? Join me today for a behind the scenes look at the process used by one of our top flight luxury travel specialists. Our guest shares her top 8 tips for travel planning in Europe and elsewhere, plus a bonus tip at the very end of the interview. Stay tuned. My guest today is April Powers, founder and custom travel specialist behind April Powers Travel. Making her home in Charlotte, North Carolina, April has been wowing her clients in and around Charlotte and across the country since 2007. April's passion and specialty is for creating personalized, stress-free luxury vacations, spanning romantic honeymoons, anniversaries, romantic getaways, and custom luxurious vacations. Hi, April. Welcome to RTE Travel Talk.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for having me.
It's wonderful to have you, April. So, on this channel, April, we get a lot of comments and direct messages about folks looking for something different when it comes to travel. They're either looking for something unique or they're not big fans of traveling in a large group. Now, when it comes to that, most folks really don't know where to begin when it comes to planning a multi-destination, multi-experience trip or tour. You can definitely jump on the internet to do the research, but is one thing, but when it comes to pulling all the various pieces together into one cohesive package, that's quite another. Now, I happen to know that this type of travel is your specialty, particularly in Greece and Italy. So today I thought you could give our viewers and listeners kind of a look behind the scenes at what goes into crafting a seamless luxury travel package and perhaps provide a few tips and advice for future travelers. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Perfect. So let's dive right in, April. What are the initial steps you take to ensure a seamless travel experience for your clients?
First and foremost, getting to know the client.
Okay.
Really finding out what's important to them. What do they consider seamless? What would be a stress-less experience for them? Something where they don't have to worry a whole lot.
Well, one thing that I've always found has been a big stressor when you're planning something like that is the to and fro and what am I going to do next and the timing and that sort of thing. Personalization is definitely key. So what comes after your initial consultation?
That's when the magic starts to happen. Take all the information, all your preferences that I learned about on the phone call. And when I know I have your preferences is when I can visualize your itinerary in my head. Then I begin working on all the elements, all the components to put together your ideal trip. That will include when you arrive at the airport, you'll have a driver waiting for you, holding a sign with your name, waiting for you right outside baggage claim. You don't have to worry about all the other people trying to get you to take a ride with them or getting in the wrong line. No worries. You've got someone waiting and they're holding that sign. They'll take you directly off to your hotel or maybe off to the train station, whichever direction your itinerary is going. Then we'll get you checked into your hotel. And I always recommend that first day, don't have anything planned. Especially if you're going overseas, if you're going to Italy or to Greece or to Spain, anything along those lines. Give your body a day to acclimate, catch up, get some rest, see how you feel. You don't want to go on a tour or have an experience scheduled and you just don't feel like doing it.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because going across the Atlantic, that's a 6 to 8 hour flight. You've got the time zones to deal with, and then having somebody waiting for you there, that's fantastic because it takes the stress out because that's one of the biggest things, right?
It can be.
Yeah.
It really can be because when you retrieve your luggage and you're walking out to the airport doors, there are a lot of people there trying to get your business. They're yelling at you that they're your ride. Hey, the taxi's here. When in reality, the taxis are not there. They're just trying to trick you to get you into their vehicle so they can make money off of you. Things work so differently in the other countries, and if you don't know all of that ahead of time, it's easy to fall prey to that.
I'm sure. So what's next after I've had a luxurious day to relax and find my feet again?
Yes. Well, the next thing is are you a morning person or are you an afternoon person? So if you're a morning person, you would get up that morning and have breakfast because breakfast is always included wherever you go. And then from there, Your guide, your personal guide, will show up to your hotel. They'll meet you, they'll greet you, and off you'll go to your first experience, whether it be going to the Colosseum in Rome or going to the Acropolis in Greece. They will meet you at your hotel. You do not have to get up and try to roam all over the place trying to find a meeting place. There's usually pretty obscure and hard to find.
So tell me a little bit about these personal guides. What do you mean by that?
It's private,
Yeah.
so it'll just be you and your guide.
Wow.
They speak English and they know a little bit about you before they meet with you. So they're going to have a little bit of an idea what your likes and dislikes are. And they're also going to ask you about your likes and dislikes as you're going towards your first venue. They're all vetted. They
Yeah.
will take you around and show you. So if you're in the Coliseum, they're going to educate you, answer all your questions. They're very good at picking up on your cues too. If they see that you are not interested in what they're talking about, they will change it. They're not going to beat you over the head with the same thing over and over again. So they're very good at zoning in on what interests you and creating more of a personalized experience even throughout your tour that you're on with them.
That's amazing. So like that's so different to what we experienced when we were in Rome. We had great guides. It was even a small group tour, but there were still 15 or 16 people. So you're kind of moving as a group. So you're saying with a private guide, it's just you and and your guide. Fantastic.
Right, right. No headsets involved, no
Yeah.
multiple languages. If you've ever been on a tour and had your headset malfunction,
Yes.
that, oh my good, yes, me too. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible because then your guide is trying to yell so everyone can hear you and you can't hear. There's just too many people. When it's just the two of you or your family of five, whatever it might be, alone with your guide, you're able to just talk back and forth, have a conversation, ask the questions that you really want to ask
Yeah.
instead of getting a canned speech.
Wow, and that's so much more personalized experience.
Right,
You're always
right.
going to remember that. That's fantastic. What about the accommodations, April? When you're looking at something like this, what do you seek out to match to your guests?
Most importantly, what they're comfortable with.
Okay.
I love to ask, where have you stayed or where do you enjoy staying when you're just traveling around the United States here? That gives me an idea of what they like and then what do they like about it. So then we move on from there. Now, if you are a five-star person and cleanliness is very important to you, knowing that there's someone at that front desk, knowing that your hotel has air conditioning, those are things I'll consider more of the 4 and 5 star experiences in some of the other countries that we wouldn't necessarily think are here. So knowing that ahead of time and choosing the right hotel to match that is important.
Interesting. So basically what you're saying is when you're talking to your guests, you're getting a feel for whether they want that 5-star experience where everything's just immaculate, or do I understand that based on their cues, go for something perhaps a little bit more rustic?
I don't know if rustic would be the right word. And I like to say there's different levels of 5 star. There's 5 star where you have white glove
Right.
service. And that's usually what people picture is the white glove service that
Right.
is there, that everything's a little bit over the top, chandeliers everywhere. It's not like that when you are visiting some of the other places throughout the world. A 5 star may be what we would consider a 4 star here in the States. So I like to call it, you're laid back, not stuffy 5 stars. I
Got it.
find those are usually a great fit. They're very clean, always someone at the front desk to help you. They have someone that can help you with your bags if you want. They usually have a little restaurant. So it's not over the top,
Right.
but it's clean and they do take care of you.
I would kind of have to think that budget probably enters into the equation at this point as well, right?
Absolutely. I don't talk about budget until I get a full picture of what it is you want. I can give you an idea of what I think it might cost. I call it a guesstimate is what I usually say.
Yeah.
But I won't know if what your budget is and if what we're looking at are going to work until I have your entire picture laid out.
Basically from start to finish.
Correct.
Yeah. So one of the things that's important when you're putting together a luxury package in a seamless are the experiences. Now,
Hmm.
what would be an example of an exclusive experience that you've put together, for example, in Greece?
One of my favorites in Greece is a private boat in the afternoon, going on a private boat tour, and you have a chef, a low key chef, we'll say,
Yeah.
not a Michelin star chef.
Right on.
And so it's just you out on this beautiful catamaran, and he's going to take you around all the places that you need to see. You have the whole boat to yourself, and he makes you a really nice Mediterranean Greek meal. Again, all based on what you like to eat. So he prepares that based on your preferences. And you watch the sunset. They bring you, back to your hotel afterwards. That's a really, really nice experience to have. Not
Jeez.
inexpensive, but nice.
Wow. Straight out of Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
What about Italy? What would be a favorite exclusive experience in Italy?
The Tuscan countryside is always a really nice experience. When they think Tuscany, they think the rolling hills, the wineries, the vineyards. There's a lot of really beautiful little villages filled with historical places to see. Going out for the day with your own private driver. And your driver, again, is going to say, what do you like to see? What's important to you? What kind of wine do you like? They're going to take you to those particular places. And they stop whenever you want to stop. And when you stop in a little town, if you want to spend a couple hours in that little town, maybe have some lunch right there, absolutely you can do that. You do not need to rush to get back on a tour bus and get moving with the rest of the group when you're really just starting to see what you want to see. I really like that special touch.
Absolutely. Now, you've touched on one thing that's near and dear to my heart, and that's the food. Now,
Yes.
you were kind enough to send me a couple of itineraries and proposals for folks that are actually traveling, and I noticed a lot of private dinners that you set up and culinary experiences. How important is that when you're planning something like this?
Depends if it's important to the person. And Italy food is usually, I should say, usually very important to the person when they're going to Italy. We can set up an experience where it's just, you and your family, you and your husband, whatever it might be. You're going to someone's house and they're going to have a cooking class, but it's just going to be the three of you. You create an entire meal together. You go to the market. You pick out everything that you want together for this meal. Then you make it. And while you're making it, not only are they teaching you how to do some of the things, they're telling you all about Italy from a local's perspective.
Right.
The side you don't always get. And once you're done, you sit down with this family in their home and you eat a wonderful meal, have some wine. And when it's all said and done, you've made friends. You always make friends with them because they're so personable.
Right.
Then your driver will take you back to your hotel afterwards.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. So you've got so many different irons in the fire with this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you ensure that everything runs smoothly once the trip begins?
A lot of work behind the scenes.
Okay.
I am always calling, double checking, reconfirming everything, reminding people of what's important. I am reaching out, speaking to the tour guides. I am speaking to the chefs that they're going to be working with. I'm double confirming their restaurant reservations because I do provide, in Italy and Greece, I do provide a list of restaurant recommendations.
Right.
Let them look through it, and then I will go through and make all their reservations for them. So I'm also confirming all their restaurant reservations as well.
Now, I noticed in the itinerary, the detailed itinerary you sent me, 27 pages long, and you lay out absolutely everything on every single day, on every trip, and everything that's going to happen. And I've also noticed that you pay particular attention to specific instructions that they kind of need to make sure everything goes off without a hitch. There's a lot of work involved in that.
There is. My goal, I don't want you to be on vacation. If it's your dream vacation, if it's your 50th wedding anniversary or your honeymoon, if it's a special family get together, the last thing I want you to do is feel any kind of panic. because something didn't go right.
Exactly.
It happens.
Yep.
Hiccups happen.
Yep.
So if your transfer isn't right where it's supposed to be and you don't know what to do, you start to get a level of panic set
Yep.
in. That
Yep.
where are they? What am I doing? And
I'm
you don't want to
lost.
be
Yeah.
somewhere else. Right. You don't want that on vacation. You're supposed to relax, enjoy. So I want to always think 10 steps ahead. In the worst case scenario, if your transfer is not where they're supposed to be, what is the next step you take? And I
Right.
like to lay all the steps out for every imaginable scenario that they could have happen.
That level of support has to be very reassuring for the travelers that you have. And like I said, the itinerary you sent me was literally 27 pages long. Do you have an app that goes along with that people can take with them?
I do. They have an app they can download on their phone, so
Yeah.
they always have access to it. But in the rare, here's me thinking ahead again.
Yeah.
I might overthink things. Uh,
No.
if for some reason their Wi-Fi didn't work,
Right.
or the app didn't work, or their phone was stolen, what are they going to do then? So not only do they have an app, but I send them a travel packet. It's a booklet
Yeah.
with everything that's going to be in that app put together in a nice page by page itinerary that they can take with them. So they have a backup copy if anything were to happen.
Amazing. Now, I'm going to pin you down a bit. All of what we just talked about is incredible.
Mhm.
And it's so much different than going with a group tour or doing a cruise tour or cruise and stay and that kind of thing. What kind of dollar number are you you sent me on an itinerary which I think was 12 days. What approximate dollar number, would people be looking at for something so wonderful?
All comes down to what their preferences
Yeah.
are. I don't know that there is a set price.
Yeah.
That would be difficult
For
to
sure.
answer,
Yeah.
finding out what they want. If you're looking for kind of an average,
I am. Yeah.
is that what you're leaning towards? Okay. So I would say on average, Italy, especially if you're going during peak time, which is May, June, July, August, September.
Right.
If you're going during that peak time with private guides, private transfers, we'll say 5-star hotels, let's say for 10 days. We'll say
Right.
you're going for 10
Okay.
days. Something along those lines will probably be in the 20,000 range
But is that 20,000 per person or per couple?
per couple. That doesn't include airfare.
Yeah. Well, even so, that's not out of the way. As you know, April, we spend a lot of time on this channel talking about river cruises and cruises, and you can spend $20,000 in a heartbeat on a Mediterranean Greek Isles cruise,
Oh, right.
depending on the cruise line. But this is so much more personal. Like I think it's just amazing.
Well, I agree.
I'm sure. Now, like I said before, April, this has to take a tremendous amount of work on your part behind the scenes to make all of this come off seamlessly. What advice can you give to the folks out there that might be part of the DIY crowd? What might be some of the pitfalls that folks might run into to try to put something like this together yourself? I can think of a couple off the top of my head, but I'd like to hear from you.
I'll tell you what, there are some people who love to get into the details. They love it. That's wonderful. I have found most people, they don't want to think about it. They're busy. They don't have time. They're working. They've got other commitments. They're tired. It's just too much.
Yeah.
But someone doing it yourself, I think, is a different animal, and not in a bad way, but they're always working when they're on their vacation. They're not relaxing. They're still working because they got to make sure that they've got their transfers lined up. Did their transfers show up? Did they confirm their transfer? Were there any issues with it? Did their train, for instance, if they're taking a train to get to a different part of the country, is there a train strike that day? What are they going to do then when that train's on strike? How are they going to get there? What kind of ticket did they get? Is that ticket one that they can easily exchange? Is there another train right behind it? Now they're sitting there working. They're having to look everything up instead of just getting in that transfer and going.
Yeah, no, for sure. And what came to mind for me was, okay, am I going to take, as a DIY person, I'm going to spend all that time finding the very best vendors, the very best suppliers, the excellent private guide, like the amount of research you'd have to put into that to replicate what you do on a daily basis is overwhelming. And then at the end of the day, just as you said, you're not sure, right? And then when you get over there, what you said about you're still working, that's so true.
Absolutely, working on vacation, and some people do like to do that, and that's great. That's enjoyment for them, and I think that's wonderful. They should do that because I would drive them crazy. But yes, the connections of knowing who these drivers are, who these tour guides are, which train company, which part of the train they should be in, timing it all, make sure that transfer's there in enough time to get them to where they need to be in enough time to get to their next destination. Comes with years and years of experience. And I do have a lot of connections with a lot of people that I know are the best at what they're doing.
Because you've done it for years and years. And you just can't put a value on that expert knowledge that you bring to the plate.
Right.
Well, April, having walked a mile in your shoes, I could not agree more. Thank you so much for sharing your insights today. Is there anything else you might like to add before we wrap up?
If you're thinking about traveling to another country, like if you're thinking about going to Europe, in 2023, it was the year of lost luggage. I don't know why, but the airlines were just having a bit of a challenge with lost luggage. Please, if you haven't thought of it already, go out and get some luggage trackers that you can hook up. You can sync with your phone.
Right.
Get those. I know a lot of people like to travel with just doing a carry-on bag. I admire those people, but it's very difficult for everyone to travel with just a carry-on bag. So if you are checking a bag, please get a luggage tracker, sync it up to your phone. So in the event that your luggage doesn't arrive in your destination, then it's easy for someone like myself to help track, or the airline, or for you to have peace of mind and knowing exactly where your luggage is and not wonder if you're ever going to get it.
That's a great tip. Well, April, this is absolutely fantastic. If folks wanted to reach out to you about booking a custom luxury vacation, how would they do that?
Honestly, the best way to reach me is by email.
Okay.
You're always welcome to call. I'm just on the phone a lot. So it may take me 24 hours, sometimes 48 hours to get right back, to get back to you. And I don't like people waiting that long. So email is always the best for a little bit quicker response.
And that's April at aprilpowerstravel.com.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Super. I will leave those links in the description for those folks that may want to reach out. But just before we get out of here, I always like to live vicariously through all the wonderful travel experts I interview on this show. So I have to know, where are you and Carl off to next?
Ireland.
Oh, fantastic. Got anything special planned in Ireland?
Well, we don't agree on anything, of course. So we have to fine tune the details. It's going to be our 20th anniversary. So we're going to go to Ireland. We might throw in Scotland with it as well. We'll get those details worked out. I will get those details worked out.
Well, that's just super. I absolutely love Ireland. You can find all kinds of wonderful places to enjoy and perhaps raise a Guinness or two.
Yes, Carl will. Yes, for sure.
Well, I look forward to seeing some pictures from Ireland, and perhaps we'll have to have you back to tell us all about it. How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful.
That's excellent. Well, with that, April, I'm just going to wish you safe and happy travels on all your future trips and vacations. May the wind always be at your back. And I hope to see you and Carl in a little bistro in Rome sometime soon.
Oh, that'd be great.
Perfect. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
You too.
And that about wraps it up for today, folks. A very special thanks to my guest, April Powers of April Powers Travel. If you'd like to reach out to April about a custom vacation, I will leave her contact information in the description. If you'd like to reach us with a question or a suggestion for a future video, you can send a question to questions@realtravelexperts.com, visit our website, realtravelexperts.com, or simply leave a comment. We always respond. And as always, folks, if you enjoyed this content, a like, share, subscribe, and a ring of the bell is certainly appreciated and helps us to spread the word. So until next time, happy travels.